So for today, I'm going to show you how I made this movie poster. So currently I'm taking a design course, and part of the course is some homework assignments. And in one of those homework assignments, I was given the brief to make a movie poster based on a fictional movie. So I had ChatGPT come up with a couple different names and themes, and then from there I made my own idea, and that's how I ended up coming up with the idea that I used for the poster that I've just showed you. One of the other requirements for the homework assignment was to practice distortion techniques. The genre and theme of the movie actually ended up being a perfect pairing, so I think it turned out perfectly. But with all that out of the way, let me show you how I came up with this design. Alright, so the first thing that I did was just write everything down just so I could reference it if I needed to. From there, I really just started experimenting with some distortion effects. I had an idea in my head that I was really trying to encapsulate, and I was really just trying a bunch of different stuff. And if I'm being really honest, most of it did not turn out very good. I'm not going to spend too much time explaining what I'm doing for these first two ideas because I ended up abandoning them and they really weren't that good anyways. But I did want to show the process just so you can see that I really don't have any idea of what I'm doing most of the time, and I just kind of design until I figure it out. I spent a lot of time trying to make this idea work, but then I thought, maybe it's the picture that's the problem, so maybe I should just try a different picture and that'll give me the results that I'm looking for. So I left that alone, and then I moved over to this photo and I started kind of messing around with that instead, which at first seemed to be going much better than the last idea that I had with the last photo that I was using. I actually really like how creepy and weird this looks. And while I didn't actually end up using this for the poster design, I did end up taking this idea and changing it to make one of my personal poster designs that I post on Instagram. So if you're interested in seeing how I ended up using it, you can check out my Instagram and it'll be there eventually, but I don't know when. I ended up with this third photo that ended up being the perfect photo to execute the idea that I had in my head. And really what I wanted to do was have the face kind of distort and fade off the canvas, kind of like it was bleeding off and disappearing. But I did spend a good amount of time fiddling with the liquefy tool, just trying to get everything exactly how I wanted it, trying to get the right textures, the right gradient map, and just making sure everything fit and made sense together. Once I had it in a pretty decent place, then I wanted to start moving on to the title of the movie and I guess the logo. I actually spent a lot of time on this because I really wanted to make it perfect, but I really just wasn't coming up with anything that felt right. It just doesn't really fit with the movie poster. Like maybe if this was just a personal project, I might have stuck with it, but because it was a movie poster, I really wanted it to make it feel like it was an actual real movie poster for a real movie, and what I was coming up with just really wasn't doing it. So after working on this project for like an hour and a half, I ended up stopping, and then I came back a day later in order to finish it all up and come up with the final design. But after some taking time away from designing, I was able to come back with some new ideas, and I think these ideas are working a lot better than the ones that I had before. testing some different layouts, and I ended up settling on the one that you see here. Maybe not the most exciting font and layout that I've ever done, but I think it kind of harks back to a little bit more of a traditional horror movie poster with a sans serif typeface. Not exciting, but it is good. But once I had the text where I wanted, I added in a couple of different effects just to make it fit in a little bit more with the poster and make it feel like it's part of the poster rather than just sitting on top. After that, I felt like the poster was mostly finished, so I started adding in some textures. And even though that I thought I was really close to being finished, I had one more idea that I thought might be cool. What I thought would be cool is if I got a picture of a skull and had her face kind of distort and fade into the picture of the skull. So I spent some time setting that up, exploring that concept, and just trying to make it look as good as I possibly could. I had to do some slight adjustments here and there, just trying to get everything to make sense and fit together, but I eventually landed on a spot that I was pretty happy with. So here's the final design. As you can see, I ended up going back to the original layout without the skull on the left side. It's a neat concept, but I thought it just looked a little bit too cluttered, and so it didn't really sit well with me. So what I ended up doing instead is putting some skulls in kind of the distortion or smear effect, almost like the skulls were actually inside of her and they're being revealed as her face is being distorted and wiped away or disappearing. But I did find another use for a layout with a distorted skull because I thought it would look really cool on a billboard if it was kind of like really blown up. I think in this case, this is a better use for it because it makes it a little bit different than the movie poster, but it's still similar enough to work with the rest of the aesthetics of the entire project. So in the end, it wasn't all for nothing. But honestly, I'm really happy with how it came out. I haven't really done a lot of movie poster design, so this was a lot of fun to do. It really felt like one of those projects where everything just comes together really perfectly, and in the end, it's just great. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this poster. Did I do a good job? Could I have done something better? Was there a better idea? Leave a comment and let me know. But if you found this video helpful or entertaining at all, I'd appreciate it if you would check out the rest of my channel and then consider subscribing. I hope to see you in the next video.